Hello, this is BBC World News. I'm Ben Bland. Our top stories. A moment of sporting history. Kenya's Eliud Kipchoge becomes the first person to run a marathon in under 2 hours. Japan braces for typhoon Hagibis, its strongest storm for more than 50 years. Hello and welcome to BBC World News. The Kenyan long-distance runner Eliud Kipchoge has become the first person ever to run a marathon in under 2 hours. In a feat of seemingly superhuman endeavour, he made it through the finish line in 1 hour, 59 minutes and 40 seconds. The former Olympic champion, who holds the men's marathon record, was cheered on by huge crowds around a specially designed course in the Austrian capital, Vienna. He hopes he's inspired others to try to beat his record time.
I'm feeling good. It has taken 65 years for a human being to make history in sport. After Roger Bannister made history in 1954, it took another 63 years. I tried and I did not get. Now it's 65 years. I have tried. I'm the happiest man to run under 2 hours in order to inspire many people, to tell people that no human is limited. You can do it. I'm expecting more of the athletes in peace all over the world to run under 2 hours after today.
The authorities have ordered hundreds of thousands of people in eastern and central Japan to evacuate their homes immediately as Typhoon Hagibis lashes the country. One man's reported to have been killed. Thousands of homes are without power and all flights and train services from the capital have been cancelled. Our correspondent Rupert Wingfield-Hayes sent this update from Tokyo.
This behind me is Shibuya Station in the middle of Tokyo, and normally on a Saturday afternoon this place would be jammed with tourists, jammed with shoppers. This here is the famous Hachiko's Scramble Crossing, one of the most famous sites in Tokyo, and normally on a Saturday afternoon there would be thousands of people going across here. Now it is pretty much completely deserted, and that goes for the whole of Tokyo, the greater Tokyo area. Everything has pretty much been shut down ahead of this storm. All of the railways, the whole of the metro system, both of Tokyo's airports are now closed down, as is the famous bullet train. And that's because, although it doesn't look like it yet, in a few hours from now, we're going to have winds coming through here well in excess of 100 kilometers an hour. So this is the Tama River, and this is one of the main large rivers that runs through Tokyo. This is on the southern end of Tokyo, and you can see just how swollen it is already. There is now a flood warning in effect for people living on the banks of this river, because as you can see, it's already very, very high. There's still more rain falling, and this is the real danger from a typhoon of this size. Huge rainfall has fallen over the last few hours up in the mountains to the west of Tokyo. Now all that rain is coming down these rivers, swelling them, and it's in danger of breaking their banks. And this is just one of dozens of rivers along the coast here. It's always the big danger from these sorts of events is water. Water is the thing that can do real damage, both if this river bursts its banks, if it causes landslides in the mountains, or of course when it reaches the sea. As the typhoon comes up the coast in the next few hours, it will push a storm surge ahead of it. And as it meets the water coming out of these rivers, that can cause flooding along the coast.
Pressure's building in the US to stop Turkey continuing its offensive against Kurdish-held areas in Syria, with warnings of fresh sanctions. A decision by President Trump to withdraw American troops effectively triggered the Turkish incursion. But he now says he wants the US to negotiate a truce between Turkey and the Kurds. Kurdish leaders have accused the US of stabbing them in the back, an accusation the US Defense Secretary has denied.
To be clear, we are not abandoning our Kurdish partner forces, and U.S. troops remain with them in other parts of Syria. The impulsive action of President Erdogan to invade northern Syria has put the United States in a tough situation, given our relationship with our NATO ally Turkey, who has fought alongside the United States in the past, the Syrian Democratic Forces who helped us destroy the physical caliphate of ISIS, and the safety of U.S. military personnel. Rather than get pulled into this conflict, we put the welfare of our soldiers first, while urging Turkey to forego its operation and working hard with us to address their concerns through the development of a security zone along the border.
Let's have a look at some of the other main news this hour. And Facebook's attempts to create a global currency known as Libra suffered another blow as 4 more online payment groups, MasterCard, Visa, eBay and Stripe, said they were pulling out of the project. They joined PayPal, which dropped out earlier. The veteran Hollywood actress Jane Fonda has been arrested at a climate change protest in Washington. After refusing to leave the steps of the Capitol building, she was led away by police in handcuffs. Scientists say that the speed at which people walk in their 40s can reveal a lot about how fast their brains are aging. The study examined 1,000 people in New Zealand. Scientists found there were signs from the age of 3 of who was going to be healthier in later life. In Southern California, a sudden rash of wildfires has killed at least 1 person and forced residents to evacuate their homes. The Saddle Ridge fire has been raging since Thursday, whipped up by strong winds and dry conditions. Firefighters say the blaze remains largely uncontained and as many as 31 buildings have been damaged by the fire. 100,000 people have had to flee their homes.
I really felt frightened. I really felt scared because I'd never seen something like that. That was my first time to see real fire up close. I've been hearing about it, seeing on the TV, but this was my first time to be really involved in the fire.
Oh, we were panicking. We have been up since 1 o'clock, 1:30. Packed our bags, few clothes, medicines and everything, and we had to leave. They told us to evacuate.
This is BBC World News. Thanks for watching.
Well, large swathes of Europe are enjoying some fine weather right now. Really a lot of sunshine from Spain, southern France, the Alpine region. You can see Italy, hardly a cloud in the sky, right across the Balkans. And it's also quite warm in eastern parts of Europe as well. But a very different story around the British Isles and Scandinavia. Here, colder air has arrived from the North Atlantic. And also, we're talking about wind and rain, for example, in London. But to the south of this weather front, and you can see it's a conveyor belt of cloud and rain. To the south of it, it's a completely different picture. Still into the mid-30s there for Cyprus and for Turkey. Warm enough across the Balkans, mid-20s. And those temperatures around the mid-20s are stretching all the way into central parts of Iberia. Even southern France, high 20s. But then look at that. London at 14 degrees. We'll match that in Copenhagen. A little bit cooler than that in Oslo and also Stockholm. And you can see that weather front making progress across the UK and also bringing some rainfall there into southern areas of Scandinavia. But look at Berlin and Warsaw into the 20s. That's pretty good going for this time of the year. Are those temperatures going to last? Well, in Paris, it looks as though we'll see it cooling off as we go through the course of next week down into the teens, closer to where they should be. In Kiev, it's going to stay warm. Look at that, around 22 degrees still on Monday with sunshine on the way.
Sorry.
Think this is funny? Is this a joke to you?
It's so awful, isn't it?
Are you having any negative thoughts?
There are many who prey on the innocent. I'm sure your kind would agree. If I didn't know better, I'd say you were making a threat. Well, do you? Do I what? Know better.